me. But I'm going to send the picture to you again, just so you can see the oranges. I think that's the piece that you can't really see in this picture, is those really warm tones. So we're just going to rely on our WhatsApp today. And let me get my glasses on. I finally got my glasses here. So
keep them away from the dog.
Oh my gosh, you have no idea. Oh man, that darn dog. Okay, so I'll resend it, and then I also put it in grid form for you, because it is good, right, to have a good sense of how to sketch this out. And I've kind of gotten away from doing thumbnails, and I usually do thumbnails sketches. I just wanted to bring that up again, that that it is kind of good to do. And I have, I'll show you real quick, some tracing paper that I've used. And it's pretty simple to do a real quick value sketch. And you can literally just, the purpose of this is not to look at all of that detail, right? We just want the lights and the darks, the big shapes. And just try to get in the habit of doing it a little more. I've been doing this a little while, so I kind of have an idea. But what it does is it helps you with perspective, and then whether this is going to work out or not. So this is just tracing paper. You can just put it right over the photo, just like that. So it takes away the detail. And then I have this dual brush pen set, and it's all in a grayscale. So from clear all the way to dark. And you can just use this for real quick. And it's just sketching in the darks to the lights. And you're just looking at shapes, right? And so here's your darks. And then you got a dark here. And it's just like changing the picture to black and white, but it just kind of helps just see the shapes. So when you're looking at, when we go to the medium, this may look really dark to you on that side, but it's a medium. When we go to do our like underpainting, let's say, don't worry about this fencing. You could outline just the shape if you want, just for sketching purposes. But that's it. It just helps when you're trying to pick out pastels and you're thinking about an underpainting, and it just shows the basic shapes. Look at, you really have just a medium, and the sky I would consider is somewhat of a medium in here. But again, we're just looking at just the basic shapes. It's not a whole lot. And it helps when you're trying to just keep it simple and sketching it out. Because right away, our brains want to go straight to that detail. So try it out on some other pieces and really work from this sketch itself. You can use that just to sketch out here rather than look at every root, every piece of grass. When you do it simplified like that, you don't pay attention to every little bit of grass, every little piece of wood or the wire. We don't want to worry about that right now. So just a good tip and reminder. I'm going to turn on this other light and see if it, whoops, wrong one. If it doesn't work, I'll turn it off, but I kind of need to see my sticks a little bit. So I apologize. Kind of in the dark here. So in thinking about our underpainting, it's a warm sunny day. And so we don't want to go to local color, which is what we see in the picture. Again, we're looking at warmth. We know the sun is out. It's kind of like a stormy day. So you kind of know that the clouds are kind of moving around, but it looks like the sun is still shining because it's so bright and you can still see the warmth in the dirt and the grasses. So shade areas, not here, but shaded areas, we'll do some cooler values. And here on the sand, we're going to do some warmer. So I'm going to be looking at probably like a pinky color, maybe like a salmon for that underneath that sand. And as we build up the color on it, it's going to give it a little bit more depth and warmth. And so I'm going to just set that off to the side. This is kind of like, I don't know, like a red pink. And I'll show you. I'm thinking for the sand. This is a hard pastel. And then for underneath the underpainting here, let's do some purple and reds. And I'll show you right here. And maybe even some rusty color. It's hard to see. So this purple in the picture, it is actually a very dark purple. It's kind of showing up. It's not as dark, but it is pretty dark. So we're going to use that here in the darker areas. And then for the shaded area, we're going to do probably even like a navy, like a dark, dark blue. And I'm picking it right now, so move into the light for you. So I think that's what we're going to start out with. And then in the sky, we're going to start with some purples, periwinkle, I guess you would call it. So a dark purpley blue and then to a light. That's going to be to this area right in here. And then as we move to the left, we're going to get a little bit lighter. So we're probably going to use, I would say, that's a light. We don't want to go right to the local color. We kind of want to go mid-tone of what we're looking for. So we're going to probably use these two for the sky. Okay, so we've got our colors. The grasses, I'm not going to worry too much right now. Those are going to be kind of at the end along with the fence. We want to just look at building this scene without the fence, without the grasses yet. We're looking at the side hill, of course, but these wispy grasses will kind of come at the very end. So right now, let's start with kind of sketching this out. I'm probably going to use, maybe this dark pastel, like a new pastel, maybe a purple. Like a dark purple, just to sketch real quick, and I'll take a picture of it. I chose this because we're going to be laying in quite a bit of dark purple and some reds and rusts. And so rather than doing like a bright red or a, you know, a cream color, the purple will work, and the hard pastel is kind of nice. I'm thinking about doing a wet underpainting. I'm using pastel matte, so it's kind of different when you're doing a underpainting. But I mean, it will work. Okay, so let's get this sketched in. And just doing light touch. Not ready for the fence yet. Pay attention to the angle of the sand, so kind of just thinking directional, and might come down a little lower. Not a whole lot. Okay. Now I'm going to go in with my dark purple. And I'm just pressing harder right into these dark areas. The idea is we're going to layer on top with lighter, excuse me, lighter colors. And the fence, it's going to be about here. Just making sure angle-wise. And okay. I'm just pressing a little harder. Move this over a little bit here. Okay, now we're going to move into the maroon color. Bring in some warmth, looking at where that warm areas in the grasses. This is like a wine color. And it's a soft pastel, so I'm not pressing too hard. Bring some more over here. Then bring in some of that brown rust. And I may have to carve that back a little bit. And then we're going to use that navy blue where it's really dark in shadow. And we're going to put this down in here. Maybe a little bit. Okay. And then we're going to move to the sand. I use this. That's a little bright. I know, pink. Doesn't seem like this would be the right color, but it will. I'm going to add a little bit of purple to that. Just over in this area, it's just a little bit shaded. And this is kind of a brighter orange, and I'm going to put it up here where that bright sand is. Kind of back into here. Maybe a little bit back in here. Okay. And then for the sky, we're going to do the dark purple because we're looking at the sky underneath all of these clouds. So it's this dark periwinkle. A little lighter. This is wild and crazy looking, isn't it? And then we're moving away. It's duller. And we'll throw a little bit of that purple on it. Okay. All right. Where did I put my phone? I'll take a picture of it. Wild and crazy. Yes, it is. I think I am going to use the alcohol for the underpainting on this. If you don't have anything, you can just use a blending tool. But go ahead and send over. We're going to have fun with this. And remember, great, Jeannie, that looks great. This is going to be fun. It's bright. We're going to lay the colors over it so we can tone down these bright colors. It just gives it a little bit more depth and vibrancy. And we're also thinking, you know, lights and dark. And we know this is kind of cooler and warmer by the colors that we see in the sand and the grasses. And so in the picture, it looks fairly dull right here, but the actual photo that I sent over is a lot more vibrant. So definitely refer to that as we're moving through. Okay. Go ahead when you guys are ready to send over your drawings. Just like the waves, we want to follow the landscape. Set this down here. Good, Nina. Are you going to use the isopropyl alcohol, or are you going to use Gamsol, or?
I only have the alcohol, so should I spray that now?
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and just start using it, and you can just paint it in. So I think it dissolves the pigment a lot better than like water. Or if you don't have that, you can use Gamsol.
I don't have Gamsol, but I do
Yeah.
have alcohol. Okay.
Yeah, perfect. So just look at the shape. So when we're using our brush, you see how the landscape, this is the way we're going to be using our brush with that alcohol as we paint. We're going to be painting in the direction of this hillside and into the sand, and really paying attention to those planes. And you can see like this is a hill, and you know how it kind of like looks like it's coming up over to the edge and then dropping down. So we really want to just run our brush just like that, just how we see it. So I'm going to start, and I do look at the picture as I'm painting it, because I do want to see it. And Pastel Matte does really, really well, just like UArt. It's just kind of a different texture, but I love it.
What is Pastel Matte?
Pastel Matte is it's velvety. It's like it has grit, but it's just so different than UArt. This is what it looks like. It can come in pads, and let's see. I believe it's French paper, and you should get some and try it out. I bet you would love it. I can do a lot with this, and it just grips the pastel way more than like Canson does. And you can use all sorts of mediums on it, which I like. It's kind of like UArt. It's just like it's just so soft. It doesn't chew up your fingers. I'm gonna kind of paint up into an angle here. Although I'm using 90% and I'd rather use 70. I just don't have any. It'll dry faster, that's for sure. Let me see. Notice. Good, Will. Very nice.
Thank you. Sorry, I snuck in late at the back.
You did. You did. That's okay. I'm so glad.
I was watching Paddington with my son downstairs, and we had to get to the end, basically. So
of course. Oh, how old is he?
he's 5, so that's the first time he's seen it. So it's kind of a big deal for him.
That's a fun age. That's a fun age. Look how much darker it is. That's interesting. Yes, Julia. Good job. And I'm wondering if, because this is a dark blue pastel matte, that this color is just drying darker. I've never done it like this, so I'm trying it out with you guys too. I didn't have any white pastel matte.
I did alcohol on pastel matte. I think, was it last week or the week before? No, it was last
Did you?
week.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
It's different, isn't it?
Yeah. It's definitely not quite as grippy as the you are, but it was.
It's, yeah, it is different. Well, and I'm noticing, look how dark the pastel is drying on versus if you did like the U art. So I find that interesting. But I think it has to do with this paper being navy blue too. So, which is okay. This is the fun part. Get to try it out. Good, Jeannie. All right. But yeah, like if you put this light color on it, I guess I wonder if I paint, it'll still be dark. Yeah, interesting. Might need to be more on like UArt paper instead of the blue pastel matte, which I think I have some somewhere. Because I kind of want it to show. Let me see if I can do that in the real quick here. We'll do 2 edits at the same time. It's just hard when you can't see it and it's so dark. So I'm gonna do this real quick. While you guys are busy. See if I can't put it on this paper. Okay. Because I can't even see it. Trial and error. This is how we learn, right? It's a little brighter over here, but I don't want it that dark. Okay. Sorry, guys. Guess I should have tried that before, huh? Okay.
I only have pastel matte, so mine will be dark.
I know, and it's okay. I'm sure I can do it on the dark, but for you guys, for you to be able to see, it's not going to be that easy. And so it'd be easier if I had it on a lighter, piece of paper. Let me use my, So while I'm busy doing this, you guys can start laying in on this area. Move to some browns. I picked out some dark browns and dark purples. And so just very lightly start adding a little bit here on right just in here. And I will get this sketched here.
Marie, can you see mine, please?
Yeah, did you send it?
Yeah, just it.
Oh, yeah. Good.
Thank you.
Are you gonna blend it with liquid?
Yeah, Gamsol.
Okay, good.
Thanks.
Good job. Yeah. Okay. We'll do this one more time. Okay. Get to move a little fast, huh? Okay. That's all right. Okay. Paint that real quick. And at least you can see it. I'll still finish it on the blue pastel, but at least it'll be brighter for you, hopefully. Okay, so after this dries, like I said, start working back into this hillside with the roots, kind of using the same colors we put down, maybe just a value lighter if you feel comfortable. If not, I understand. You can wait. This is why I like these angle brushes. You can make texture using your pastels, just like a paintbrush does with oil. Just like when we did the wave, we're going to come back in and just make sure that everything is proportionate, kind of where we need to be. Generally speaking. Good. Yeah. Did you just do the wet underpainting, Julia? Or
Yeah.
did you add? Yeah.
Yeah, it's taking a little while to dry.
I know. And so isn't that interesting how it did so much darker? Wasn't expecting that. Makes sense, but
Yeah, this is the pastel matte as well, the same one, the blue.
yeah, that's okay. All right. We can still work the pastel matte. I have it here. So the next thing I want to do is start on the sky, and so the idea is we're going to start dark and then work to our lights on our clouds. So I'm seeing this really muted purple, dark purple. So the idea is we're going to lay in the dark and then a shade lighter and a shade. So we're going to blend on top, okay, to the lightest. So for those colors, I've got, this is same, yes. And then oops. I just kind of want to show you the gradations. Oh, dark, dark. Okay. So this actually is a dark purple, muted purple on the left in my hand. And this is what it looks like on the pastel paper, because it's going to look a little different. So starting on the left, working to the right, I have the dark and then the blue and then a muted blue, purple, and then a light. So this is the idea is we're going to layer with the dark first in the darker areas of the clouds. And then we'll work in around them with moving through the shades, the values of the purple blues to the lightest. So I'm just dragging it like this, looking at the edge. Doesn't have to be exact, but the direction is good. And I'll do this on the pastel mat too, so you can see it. So for those who are doing on the blue pastel, you can kind of see the difference, which is kind of fun actually. Okay, then I'm going to move to the shade darker, or lighter, excuse me. Just blending. Skies and clouds are nice. It's not like you're wrong. As long as we have the values, you can just lightly just drag your pastel over the paper and blend. Let some of that underpainting show through. This is just that muted lavender. Using my finger a little bit to blend. Shade lighter. Just blending. Letting it kind of just move, pressing harder in the lighter areas. Kind of following that edge. This edge right here of the lights and the darks. Softening the edges though. We don't want hard edges with clouds. I've got a muted blue, dark blue down in here. Just add a little bit. And I'm just, once I have a stick in my hand, I'm just kind of looking to see where I can add that shade. It's a nice blending shade. Okay. This is a shade lighter of that blue, and it's a grade blue. I'm just kind of adding some down in here, bottom. Keep some of that purple underneath. Okay. is just a light purple, very light purple. Just kind of a little bit right on this upper edge of that cloud. Just kind of move it around. Maybe just a little bit down in here. Okay. Let's go ahead and I'll take a picture here. Send over what you have. Clouds are fun. And it's going to be a little different on that blue pastel mat. But that's okay. A lot of neutrals. A lot more neutrals up in the sky than you believe. Yeah, I like that, Jeannie. Now, what I would do is just a shade darker than your lightest color on that cloud. Work the edges so it kind of just blends out a little bit. I love it. Very nice. Just a little. We want those soft edges. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's get back and get some color on the beach, the roots. So we've got a good dark base. And so what I'd like to do is just kind of scumble some, just a shade lighter. So I'm thinking some browns and some oranges. Okay. Let's see, what else do I have? I'm just gonna pull out some sticks here. So, and what's this? Okay. So these are the 4 colors. I'll take a picture here. The one to the very far left is a cooler rusty brown color, if you can tell, than the one closest to the right. So, and we're going to use that in the down here into the shadow area. And I may even look for, it's just a little cooler than that. But there we go. So here's another cooler brown. See the look of it compared to that rust color up top? Oh, that looks good, Will. Yeah. Stormy sky. I love it. Very nice.
It's funny, I was at the beach this morning and took a similar but not as nice picture of a very stormy sky.
Did you?
I'll send it to the group.
I would love to. Yeah, I love stormy skies. It's fun. Okay, so we're going to start off with this rusty color and see what that does. kind of like it up right at that base of where those grasses are. Kind of, because we know we're going to have some green. And just taking the edge of my pastel and pulling it down a little bit. Maybe a little bit down in here. And a little bit off over here. And then work with this. Oh, that's the lighter. Yeah. Here's the orange. Bring some of that down in here. Not a whole lot. I'm just barely skimming the top. Kind of get rid of those hard edges here. Oh yeah. Oh, isn't that pretty? We should have painted that. That's
I was
beautiful.
late, so I've only myself to blame.
Yeah. Oh wow. I love it. Where was that
So it's on the Kent coast, so the south of England coast.
at? Wow.
Place called Greatstones.
Beautiful. Very cool. So I'm looking off to this side down here and using more of a cooler brown. I'm just going to add just a little bit, not a whole lot. Just because I know that there's casting a little bit of shadow, but it's still in the sun. That's going to add some nice color underneath our sand. Okay. And then, sorry, I'm kind of like leaning because I'm at an angle here. I'll take a picture of this. So you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. We're going to start building up the sand. So this is like a peachy color, and then we're going to go to a lighter peachy color, and then eventually to even more of a peachy color, light color. So I'll show you here. So I'm just going to start out just light. I don't want to cover up the underpainting quite yet. I like to keep that warm, and I'm using my pastel in this direction of the sand, just very light touch. And that's kind of very light. I'm gonna soften those edges there. Okay. And then we're gonna go just a little bit lighter. Very, very light. Just kind of watching where those roots come down. And again, not quite as light is in the picture yet. Just building up the base. Very light touch. Kind of sneak some back in there. And paying attention to where this fence hits. And we're thinking, okay, the top of the fence kind of comes like this and then comes down at an angle. So I'm just thinking what is showing behind, because this is going to be the last thing we lay in. So we've got a little bit of a transition right in here of light sand kind of coming up the hillside. Coming down. Just softening that a little bit. Okay. I feel like I need to get a little bit more of the light in the sky. So I'm going to come in with a really light blue. Just kind of just like that. Okay. And now the sand part, and we haven't even done the grass yet. You can actually add some of that light color up here. So that's sand that comes over the hillside. Got a little bit of sand down here. Okay. So let me blend this. Let me wash my hands and blend in the sky a little bit. We can spend hours on the sky. Okay, let's get into the sand. And let's see what I've got here. Got a nice light pink. Okay, so these are what I'm going to start with. Just the lighter color. Yeah. On the sand. Oops. And then send over what you have, you guys. So to the left is like a light rosy pink, and then a darker muted brown, and then a light yellow. And I'm just gonna put some of this light pink, and I'm just blending just a little bit more right in here. like that. Now I've got that creamy yellow. If you start running out of tooth on your paper, you can go ahead and spray if you have fixative. Just like that. What do you, oh, that's okay. That's fine. Go ahead and start in on your, Rashmi, just go ahead and start in on your sand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just grab a couple sticks of some light sand color, like one mid value and one light value.
Hmm.
Do you
The
have like,
three sand colors you had sent, right? Kind
yeah,
of those.
yeah, sand color. Yep.
Okay.
And this is just a lighter. We actually have a little bit of this. I know it seems bright, but it's more in shadow, and I don't want to do it too, but I'm just going to glaze a little bit of this purple over that. And bring some of that purple right in here, because we're going to see those. Because we know that what's in the sky gets reflected into the sand, so it also kind of connects both areas too. So yeah, Jeannie, good, very good, very nice. So let's get into, go ahead, everyone, send over what you have. I'm going to put in a little bit of dark green on the ridge here of where that grass is going to, just so it can anchor itself. That it's not just kind of like floating, and it'll be nice with this little red here. Don't want too much of a hard edge. Good, Will. Good. And you may even bring some of that darker shadow area down, although your picture is kind of at an angle, so you might be good, just so you have it a little bit behind where you're going to put your fence posts.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
And one way too is it may not be exact, which is fine. We can draw them in and then darken in between the slats too. So
Yeah.
I found that if we can get this pretty set to what it is, then we just make slight marks of the slats, and then that's really all we have to do. So I take a little bit more time with that, I think. Okay, good job. How's everyone else doing? Send in so I kind of know. I don't want to move too fast. I'm just again, this is just a dark green, and I'm just adding it in the areas that I see the shadow and kind of where the grass is going to sit on top. And it helps. you see things a little bit better. And ground our grasses. They're not just like floating, like I said. So I'm laying it down and tapping, just laying it down a little bit and tapping. Okay. Then the next part of the green, I'll take a picture of what I have laid out. So I'm building up. And I've got a little bit of red that I'll add back in, but it shows kind of underneath there. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of this army green, and I'm just pulling up just a little bit, just for the base. Then I'll come in with a harder pastel to make those marks. I'm just getting the bottom piece in. Just a little bit. And we'll come in with a shade lighter. Right? That nice green against that blue. And I'm not putting it in every spot. It's just like trees. We don't want the grass all in one height, all in one line. And even if the picture indicates that, we want varying sizes and places and heights. So just building it up. I'll take a picture. And it's going to get even lighter green, but you can see on the base is how I'm just slowly building up from the darks. And then I'll finish with a hard pastel, like a new pastel with a bright green to really make it pop in those sunny areas. Okay. Come in and scumble just a little bit of this. Getting close to being ready to put our fence post in. I've also found that it's kind of fun doing a fixative towards the end too. You can do that and it will, you can drag that pastel over it and it won't mix with the pastel underneath and it will give you a really cool texture. And that could be kind of fun where the sand and the roots meet. You've noticed that I haven't really blended that piece in. I'm gonna bring in some dark brown on that, but I'm not quite ready. I feel like we need to kind of get our fence in. So let's do that. So what color do we use? I'm gonna go with like a darker muted, maybe like a brown here, and then a light, like a muted purple on the slats leaning to the edge. So let me see. So this is a new pastel. Dark brown. And then I can add like a lighter, just edge it with a lighter blue gray or a lighter tan or brown. We kind of have to see once we get it in. So I'm going to start out in this area with this dark brown new pastel. So again, how far are we into the painting? About where is it going to land? The angle. So we're kind of like here, right? And I'm just using the edge. And that's okay if you can't see it yet. It's just getting it in. Okay, and then we've got a couple slats just kind of hanging out right here. I'm calling them slats. And then we've got these shadows. It's coming off the edge here at an angle, right? Look at that angle. It's not straight up and down. Again, angles, so kind of like this. The cast shadow. I'm just sketching it in. Okay, and then they come out like this. They kind of come down. So again, we're looking at this line right here. Get a soft pastel to get a good idea. So it kind of comes up, swoops down, and back up. And you can just draw it just like that. And we've got one that kind of comes down like this. Just like that. And we've got one coming off the edge here. The tricky part with this too is we don't want them evenly spaced either. So, and notice how they're kind of swooping up. So kind of have a larger gap here. Take your time. And actually the wire is a good guide too. Put that in. So that kind of comes like this. Right? Actually. And then here, so it actually comes up a little higher. That's there. Like that. And then this one kind of curves in a little bit. Just like that. That one just runs right off the page. Okay. And Okay. And we're going to come in with this purple. And I'm just going to come along these slats, darken, make them just a little wider. And that's okay if it gets a little too wide. Remember, we're working dark to light. We've got like a really thin one here. This one's kind of like straight up, like that. And we're gonna go let's do a lighter brown. Come along just like this. Like that. I'll take a picture, and then we're going to go in with even lighter on top. Let me see where you guys are at with yours. Send in and
Miles behind as always.
it's kind of tricky, isn't it? And this is, I mean, this is where we do a lot of back and forth, right? Where we have our lighter colors. And so between our slats and so we can,
Look up the graphs, I think.
it's tricky. It's definitely tricky. I believe not this next month we're going to be working on mountains and mountain scenes. But I do know that we will be working on a time where like with structures. So like that will be hay bales, fence lines, and those are always good to learn perspective and angles. This is just a dark purple. But learning the negative space and those shapes, right? And this is just a new pastel, carving out into those areas. Yeah, that looks really good, Rashmi. Good job. Very good.
Thank you.
Yep, really good. And now you can come up into your hillside a little bit and add just even like a rosy, maybe like that dark rust that you have on there, that orangey rust, go just a little lighter in some parts on there, but I wouldn't go too light. Just,
Okay.
yeah, if you want, but that looks really great. So you're ready to put your fence in. So you can see I'm just kind of looking at, after I put in the slats, now I'm looking at the negative spaces, right? And making those pop. Like that. I didn't add that piece of wood in the back. I don't feel like it does anything, but if you did, that's okay. I'm just adding in a little bit of brightness up in here. Okay. I've got some dark brown. I'm just gonna come back in here where some of the shadow areas are. Come right down along these slats. Push those forward a little bit. This kind of comes up a little bit more. Okay. Okay.
So Marie, can you just tell me what colour you used for your fence post initially? What was your base colour?
Yes. It was a purple, so like a muted purple, and then like a gray brown. So I'll take a picture of it.
Fantastic, thank you.
So I'll do, this is the purple, and then this is the brown. And let me take a picture of it right here. It's actually more of a green. It shows up. It looks brown, but it's more of like a dark green. And then I'll come back with a lighter color on it.
Perfect, thank you.
Too dark. So maybe like this blue. We'll see how it looks. Probably just on this, and then maybe just a shade lighter blue, as it's kind of lighting, getting a little lighter as we move towards the center. Just like that. Not too bright. And I'll add the wire back. I'm just using my hard pastel and kind of rolling it. Not a hard, you don't want a hard line. It won't look right. Just roll it. And then these lines here, you got right here and right here where the wire hits. And you have the wire down here. Like that. Just light. It's a little bit more shadow right along the edge of this, right in here. It doesn't have to be perfect. Really watch just the edges. That's all we really care about. And then your brain will put together the pieces. I think this is just a light lavender. That works well in the shadow. And we can spend hours on this. Let's see. I'm just adding in the shadows, cast it out here, and tapping my finger. And then coming back in with that light back and forth. Okay. Good, Will. Excellent. Very nice. So if anything, now you can bring this little opening off to the left or to the right side. You can cut in with your sand and then put it off to set that piece back. And then, but everything, yeah, great job. And then you can add more shadows per se, if you'd like, up in these areas of the bank where the roots are, but it looks great. Good job. And probably need to get up here. Let me take a picture. And then we can get into that grass up top. And I've got some new pastel I can use. That's probably too light. On the grass. I think that will work. Good, Julia. That's looking really good. So for the area right in here, go ahead and you can glaze over the a little bit darker place with some of those reds and rusts. Just let it peek through, but just to soften those edges. It looks really good. And the fence looks great. Good job. So I'm just coming in with this bright green, and then I'm going to use a warmer green with some yellow in it. And I'm just, again, layering and varying my height. Right? Like this. The light hits right in here. And then we want even yellower. Good, Nina. So go ahead and you can take some purple and maybe come right onto your slats a little bit. Go right over it.
Okay.
Take some purple and then lay it kind of right onto that brown onto your slats. Maybe like a gray purple, you know, that's like muted. So you're looking at it's like a blue. Do you see that color? It's like a blue gray.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, because I was wondering why it's too brown. Thanks.
Yeah. Yep. And then you're going to make it like that weathered look, right? How the wood kind of turns gray once it's been outside for a while.
Yeah.
But we know it's wood, so we want to keep it warm, and then we want to lay that lighter weathered color on top. Good.
Yeah.
So Rashmi, what I would do is try to maybe make the slats not too even.
Oh,
So maybe make one or two of them just a little bit bigger and then some thinner, but that looks good. Good color on the top. Good job.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, good job. Good, Jeannie.
G. Wow. Perfect.
That's fun. So I would almost maybe add a little bit more rusty color into your bank if you want. I'm gonna add where is it? This like warm green. I'm gonna put this right back in here. I can. And kind of try and get some right into the base of this grass. And then I kind of have some right here. Not too much. I'll come back in with my sky. Went a little too high with that. That's okay. That's okay. Okay, so I'm gonna add, put back my sand back in here. And then I'm gonna lay a little bit of a purple over it, just to push it back. Because we do know that it's in shadow, even though it looks like it's not. Just coming back with this purple. I may have to work on some of these edges, but especially the sky. And I may have to spray it in some areas. I can tell I'm losing the tooth of the paper. just using the edge and turning the pastel kind of in different directions, just wobbling back and forth to create these edges. I'm going to use a little bit of that purple. Just out on the outer edge again. I'm going to bring that same purple down onto the slats. What we put in the sky is reflected, so. So one thing I will say probably after I'm done here, but is definitely carve in the areas where these little light spots are between the slats and just kind of refining. So like right in here. And that might be achieved better with fixative, just if I can't get the pastel to go on. So, and that can help. So I might have to do that. But and then maybe even a lighter purpley blue just to hit the tops, to kind of pop them forward a little bit. And be careful not to go too bright. Because we definitely want to watch how it dips, right? Right in that area, right here. So, and then I can use that darker color that I had, that dark purple, and then redefine that edge of this hillside. Coming back down. And kind of tapping up into here. And again, just redefining those dark areas. I'll take a picture. And this is, I mean, I can tinker around with this a lot. And I don't want it to be exact. I like the looseness of it. So. But this is something you can use hard pastels on, right? With these grasses and these roots for texture. Like I'm just using the edge of this. That's kind of fun. Okay. And I'll show you what I did. So I was just using that hard pastel, just kind of right on the edge right there. So go ahead, send me what you have. This was a tricky one. I've not really done fence posts or fences before, so. It was fun though.
They're all fun.
Yeah. And I feel like I need to add a little bit of some purple down here. A little bit of lavender. Okay. See. Okay, you guys. Good job. That was fun. I can see that my painting is growing a little bit here. I realized I needed a little more beach. That's okay. All right. Did everyone send theirs in? Good job, Jeannie. I like that. It's pretty. Good job, Will.
Thank you.
Great.
I'll
Yeah.
keep fiddling away with it for hours, I think now.
I think you can. That's like, that's what I was saying. You can just sit here and fiddle around with it. I would say the most important is just watching your edges.
Yeah.
So the edges of the fence posts and the lights and darks. And
yeah.
And then just as I was saying, just a simple putting in like a lighter color right against that dark fence post just pops it forward.
Mm.
And so
yeah, I had to brush,
yeah.
I had to brush a lot of it out, which is where it's all muddy and horrible. So I'll spray it and try that again.
Okay, and another way to erase your lines too is take some of your if you have isopropyl alcohol, you can use that as well, and
Okay.
just wet it, and that helps.
Cool.
I've found that kind of helps, sometimes easier than like brushing off the pastel, because sometimes it just doesn't work very well. But good job, everyone. Hope you guys have a great week.
Yeah, thank you. That was great.
Yep. And so next, before you go, so next Sunday, I think I'm going to still do class, even though for us it's a holiday. It's 4th of July. But since it's morning time, it should be fine. And then the following Sunday, I will be up at my mom's in Alaska. So I won't be doing class, and that will be Sunday the 11th. But I will be back on the 18th. So for right now, I'm planning on doing next Sunday. We're moving into mountainscapes, mountain scenes for next month. So I should be collecting a lot of great pictures going up to my mom's in Alaska. So I'll let you know here in the next couple days if next Sunday I won't be teaching. But for sure, no class on the 11th. So keep plugging
I
along.
sent you mine, Marie.
Yeah. Did you send one over?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me look here.
Thanks, Marie. See you later.
Bye. Good job, you guys. Good job, Rashmi. Yeah, that looks really good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep. Really good. Much better. Okay, I'm going to stop recording, and then this should upload here in the next hour or so, and you can watch it again. But send me your pictures if you have any questions.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thank
being
you.
class, Marie.
Bye.
Yeah, have a good week. Bye-bye.